Welcome back, everyone, to LCS Challengers, and game number 1 between Wildcard and AOE now done. And man, I can just say right now, that was a dominating performance coming out of AOE. It really didn't feel like Wildcard had too many windows back in. They just couldn't get the Nocturne Orianna to work the way they wanted to.
No, and I think part of it was definitely some misplays with how you execute a comp like that, but it was also great punish coming through from AOE. Like, it was very clear they recognized the opportunities in which they could actually fight, and just about all of them worked out for them. And we got to give credit to Onat. He must have finished like 9-0.
Yeah.
No, he did die once.
He had one death.
He had one death. Like 9-1, 10-1. I think he still had a great game.
Yeah, that was an incredible game by Onat because he was able to be where he needed to be at the right time and really played with that fog of war that was set up. A lot of that from both Breezy and Rosethorn just trying to deny vision. But it meant that time and time again, Wildcard were just walking into these charms that they didn't see coming, as well as these flag angles that Onat was able to take. I think he was a big standout in that game.
100%. And yeah, props to Rosethorn as well. I mean, you say Onat is where he needed to be. It's true. I think the same of Rosethorn. I think he did a pretty good job responding to a lot of what Winnie was trying to do, when he first hit level 6 in those earlier parts of the game. And I think he just overall played the Sejuani really nicely.
Now, before we get into the next game, I do want some help from the Twitch audience.
Okay.
I want to put up a little poll right now. If we get 6 scrubs again, are we going to call them the Void Ducks or the Dark Duckies?
Hold on. You're on the right track, but I think you're asking the wrong question.
What?
It's not. We gotta
get. Be a poll, man. It's gotta be a poll.
No. But yeah. But hear me out. We need to think of a name for what it is when you get all 6 scrubs, because that itself should just be a big deal.
But Quacker in specific.
What about like Grubtacular? Grub dominant. You know what I mean?
I don't know.
I'm turning you, bro. I can feel it.
You're not turning me. I feel like you derailed.
But if I tell you that I'm turning you, you might believe me. That's kind of what I'm doing.
No, you're not. You're just gonna gaslight me into it. Pete.
Yes, first of all, gaslighting's not real. Second of all, that's it.
Okay, I see some votes for Grumminance.
Grumminance is good. I like
Dark
that.
Duckies.
Sure, I think that's Quacker related, but we'll take it.
Grubageddon.
Grubageddon is great.
I like Grubageddon a lot.
You see what I mean? This is the potential. Twitch chat knows what I'm talking about.
All right. You know what? Eventually, we got to get a sponsor. That's what it is. We got to get a sponsor for the Grubs, and whatever sponsor it is, we just tie their name onto the Grubs.
Yeah.
You know what? We got some great names. Thank you so much, Twitch chat. Let's go ahead and pull up the band champions so we can get back on track and start planning out how things are going to go in game number 2. I mean, Nocturne Orianna did not work out this time, and it's not going to be able to play it again. Yep.
Yeah, that's definitely it feels bad. I mean, guys, we're second round. We're in like the first couple rounds of playoffs. You know it, but in case you're new, this is Fearless. So if a team plays a champ, they can't play it for the rest of the series. So you got a strong combo like Nocturne Ori, and you lose. That feels awful, man.
It feels very, very bad with the way that game went. I mean, I'm starting to lose a little bit of hope in Wildcard in this one, but the way the script has been written, Emery is the one who actually wrote the script,
right.
So
okay.
Be sure to tweet her if you don't like the way the games have been going. Is that this is going to go to a game 3. Every single game, for those of you who haven't been watching playoffs, has gone the distance. So why isn't this one going to be different, Pete?
I mean, I don't know. I'm sure Wildcard will cook something up. We've seen them win on so many different kinds of drafts this split. So maybe they have something in the back pocket for this just exact situation, Eric. And that's what we're hoping to see.
Dude, I'm still waiting for Doxa to come through when he said, I'm the Gordon Ramsay of Senna picks.
I mean, if they won't let him play Senna, it's not his fault. But also, he did play Yasuo, which was cool.
Yes.
So,
but he's been playing Yasuo every time they get Senna, which I think it's been like 3 times now. I want to see some of the more wild stuff he has in his back pocket, but that's not right now. Maybe it is. We'll see what happens in the draft. And speaking of, we are hearing that the draft is ready, so let's head right into that right now.
And now we're going to see Wildcard. They choose to be on the blue side. And again, this is their last chance, their last life as they're in the lower bracket. So we need to see something from them if they want to keep going here in the NACL playoffs. And AOE, I mean, they're in a great position to just go ahead and keep it moving. Winner of this one actually should be going over to face DSG. as well, who are new and improved, by the way.
Okay, before we get too much into it, the poll was actually put up, Beat.
Okay.
So Grubbination, Grubageddon, a full grubbing, Grubhub, and a Twitch raid.
Grubhub is actually perfect, but
A full grubbing is hilarious.
Until they sponsor us, I'm gonna vote for a full grubbing personally, because that's pretty funny as well.
Grubageddon is currently in the lead. Yeah.
These are all good names, honestly.
All right. Some of the bans coming out right now. Mostly AP focus coming out for Wildcard. They're going to take away, once again, that Rumble, not going to allow Zamudo on it, as well as the Orianna. So the angle here is don't allow AOE to do that Orianna Nocturne combo. Don't give them the chance to say we can do it better.
100%. And that's what happens sometimes. You get a big combo. If it happens to work for you in game one, and whether or not it does, you just ban it away because you don't want to deal with it on the other side as well. And I like that they're also getting rid of the Callista too. They don't want to allow that go over to Wixie and Breezy, who performed on it pretty well. Also, you said Grubageddon was in the lead, and it's looking like, with the poll ended, Grubageddon wins by a lot. Oh my god.
All right, that's canon now. That's what it's
canon.
called. Every time we see 6 Grubs, it's Grubageddon, man.
Yup. We don't make the rules, man. I don't know what to tell you.
Interesting right here. Okay, I do kind of get it. They're leaving the Varus up because AoE just can't grab the Varus, so this is still going to be available for them on their next pick. So they can go for something else like this B1 Karma, which is definitely a good first grab as well.
Yeah, it's been heavily prioritized. It's still great in the mid lane, and the question is going to be now, will AoE try and take away the Xin Zhao so you don't get that insanely strong mid-jungle duo? I'm expecting the answer to be yes.
Yeah, that's the next lock-in now, Xin Zhao. So big thing there is Karma really works well with a lot of these fighters that can get in your face. So denying that Xin Zhao, as you'd mentioned earlier, definitely going to be very good. Winnie can go for an angle like the Vi. That's another one you can still grab to pair with this Karma. We'll see what Wildcard are really filling up right now.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot. It's not, even though that is the best combo, they're still going to have options. So I am interested in what they're going to be going for as well. It's going to be that Varus, since they are able to grab that one for Aaron. And now it's just going to be jungle pick on 3, early pick a top laner for a Quacker. What are we thinking?
I'm kind of thinking jungle.
I mean, I would think so too.
Winnie's best when he can get in your face and just initiate every fight that he sees, right? So grabbing a good jungler for him, he's already being supported by Darkwing's Karma. So here comes final pick to come in, and that is kind of in your face. We're going for the double marksman, as Graves will be the pick for Winnie.
So there's going to be a decent amount of damage on this team for Wildcard as well. So I'm wondering if we see Quacker go towards something a little more tankier on the top side, or maybe the Renekton. So I imagine AoE, if they don't ban that away, are looking to use Zamudo on the R5.
So the final pick is the Zeri on the first round. And Zeri, it's definitely been coming up a little bit more onto this latest patch. We're going to have a combination alongside the Talia as well as the Xin Zhao. And what do you think of AoE's draft so far and how this all matches up? I mean, right now I do expect the support pool to get banned away to try and take away some of these more potent picks that can pair up with the Zeri.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it's fine. The Zeri popping up from priority makes a lot of sense, especially if they do end up pairing it with something like the Lulu that has looked really good lately and a lot of people are jumping into. I think it's nice too because you have Talia, Xin, who I think are really good at creating space. It's really important for this champion, especially when you're ulting, so that you can kite, use that move speed to just get as much DPS as you can.
Well, my friend, unfortunately, Lulu was picked in the last game by AoE.
Oh, that's right.
Fearless always gets you,
Fearless
man.
strikes again, man.
You.
That's okay. There are other shield champs. It's fine.
All right, Jack's banned away over on the side of Wildcard with the final support, and for AoE will be that Nautilus. So they want to get rid of that front line that's going to hold down and allow these marksmen to really start pumping in damage. Now, final ban for Wildcard. To go for. I mean, again, taking away some of the more enchanters could be a role, but instead still targeting that top lane of Zamudo with both the Jax and the Aatrox bans.
Yeah, I think they're recognizing that it's likely we're going to see Zamudo on the R5 there, and you want to remove some of those really good answers that they could be going for, just so that Quacker has a decent time in the top side. It does make me think that we are just going to see the Renekton from him, and I think the Blitz would be interesting, but I like the Rakan a little bit better. So yeah, Breezy's gonna lock that.
It's really nice because it gives Rosethorn a buddy to dive in with and to initiate a lot of these fights. There's going to be a lot of chaos for AoE once they do start up these fights, because it's not just the Rakanans and Zhao going in. You also have to deal with the Unraveled Earth, the Seismic Shoves. They're going to be flinging your members around, so very chaotic fights that AoE can really start up here.
Now I'm interested too. There's a couple of routes, but I really do like the Alistar, I gotta say, just because this comp is lacking a frontline as it is.
Yeah.
The shielding from Karma is really nice, but AoE's comp is looking to jump into you, and that's what I really like about Alistar. You can absorb that engage, you can set up plays of your own, you're really tanky when you use that Unbreakable Will, and if that's a Cassante coming through, I think that's the frontline set for Wildcard.
I mean, that was the hope. Because AoE were banning away for the tank supports, right? They took away that Nautilus. So you got to get something to establish your front line. And Quacker, oh man, if this is going to be the final game for Wildcard, I mean, if you want to fight back, this is one of the ways you do it. This is one of Quacker's specials. It's not just the Darius, the Olaf, any champion that takes Ghost and gets in your face, Quacker likes to play it.
Yeah, and I really like it in this situation with what's showing so far. You have a lot of CC, not the most amount of burst damage coming through, so I think this is a pretty good position for Quacker to be able to take this one here. So Zamudo, he's opting for the Jace. He's just going to insta-lock that one in. So that one, I think that matchup is kind of interesting, but I think it is a little hard because Olaf, into the rest of what AoE are working with, look really good. So now I'm interested to see how much jungle attention topside is actually going to get with this matchup.
Yeah, and the thing is, with Rosethorn being on the Xin Zhao, he is going to have a lot of impacts in the way, especially this early topside or mid lane starts to play out. So I'm going to be watching for that, especially with Darkwings as well. I mean, we're going to be watching that combo, both Winnie and Darkwings, and the shielding. So I look towards mid jungle. I look towards the way they're going to roam out and impact the map, because it's not just the top lane, right?
Yeah.
Darkwings wants to free out from lane. Same thing with Onat on the Talia.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. I kind of like what Wildcard have cooked up in the second draft, just because I think Karma, with a champion like Olaf, even though it isn't something in the jungle, is still going to be really nice in team fights. Anything you can do to allow this champion to continue auto-attacking longer, you heavily increase his chance of survival because of that life steal that is built into his kit. And again, with most of what AoE are fielding, I think Quacker should have a pretty decent time as well.
Here we go. Game number 2. Match point for AoE. A team that was 8th in the regular season nearly put on a clinic against FlyQuest. Now fighting it with another team above them in the standings in Wildcard. And for Wildcard, you're itching for this win so bad. You beat this team in the regular season. Wildcard went 2-1 with AoE. It would be very disheartening to take an early trip home now.
For either one of these teams, it would be so nice too if you're AoE. Again, 8th place finish. We thought they would do better as a team, but who's going to remember regular season if you make a solid run into playoffs and something like that? I mean, it kind of started with them almost beating FlyQuest Challengers. Again, one play away from beating our first seed and sending them to where they are right now. And also, just the fact that if you keep your lower bracket dreams alive, that would be a great way to make up for how the regular split went.
All right, here we go with an invade coming out from Wildcard. Pushing away Rosethorn from his Raptor camp. It'll be Winnie getting a steal from there. This means joining the lane late will be Quacker. Darkwings can get a quick express route towards the mid.
Still, it is going to be nice. You do force Rosethorn out. Winnie is going to get at least 2 camps out of this one. And I really want to see, because Darkwings will get that pressure mid because his Karma and the wave clear is so good. I want to see Winnie go for the invade again in the next couple of minutes. That's the important thing to me about counter jungling. It's just not that first set of camps. Being able to take them over and over and over again.
Yeah, and vertical jungling is what Rosethorn's going to go for. Understanding that, you know, you lost your Raptor, it means you've lost pretty much the top side of your jungle. So he needs to be quick on this one, as both Winnie and Darkwings, they can't start rotating over there. Good thing for him, though, him being Rosethorn, is you do got some priority over in the bot lane for AoE if they need to pull off.
Yeah, so I like the path that Rosethorn ended up taking. Red into Krugs. And he's just going to go ahead and finish farming the rest of his bottom side jungle here. Because, yeah, you're not too worried about Aaron and Doxa showing up. Oh, he's actually just going to go for the recall.
When he's going to see the golems gone, and little goodbye coming out from Rosethorn as he does spot the pathing of Winnie. Very cheeky. Got to have a smile on the face knowing that he got everything he came for.
Yeah, so you end up going even. Again, the question for me is when he wants to go aggressive and invade again, is he going to be able to deny those camps from Rosethorn? Also, it's worth noting too, we saw a cheater come through from Wixie now. He immediately recalled. Looks like he went to buy a call.
Yeah.
So he's really indexing into those later parts of the game, looking for that big cash out.
Now, Onat and Rosethorn stalking the jungle of Winnie. Might potentially look for an angle to steal away the blue buff, but no, it's mostly just to get priority onto that Scuttle Crab. Rosethorn is still itching to invade on this and will spot out Winnie trying to do his blue buff. He just puts the ward down for now. This causes Darkwings to come out of lane. Audacious Charge, 3-talent strike, looking for the knockup on Darkwings, has to back off because he doesn't want to face a red buff Winnie and Darkwings together without Onat in that back pocket. Onat getting into position for a seismic shove to disengage, but Rosethorn should be able to get away. Now Winnie over the wall is able to sweep out and spot that silhouette of Rosethorn. 3-talent strike gets knocked up. No seismic shove to be found. It's so close, and down we will go as Rosethorn falls to Winnie. Onat trying to play this one out, but man, those autos don't work like Graves autos. As Darkwings gets the root right through on Onat, it's going to be a trade as the death of Winnie comes through.
Oh my god, wait, look who's here. Level 5 Zamudo. He's just showing up to see if he can get that punished, but he's just going to end up using that bit of prio he's gotten to help Onat get that next wave in. So no play will actually come through there, but it is going to be the 1-for-1 in the jungle. And for Winnie, it feels good to be able to get that first blood. He backed, he has that serrated Dirk, so now he feels really good about skirmishing as well with that extra bit of damage he's got.
Yeah, for Graves, you want to farm up and get towards the angle where you can carry as fast as possible. Nothing's going to do that faster than lethality, and that's serrated Dirk. So good start coming out for Winnie as he grabs... well, right now, they're just the Void Grubs. Unless we actually get all 6 of them, then we got Grub again, and Rosethorn's going to deny that.
Yeah, at least for the moment, as long as Winnie gets another one. No one's getting Grub again in this game. And it is a big deal for Rosethorn to be able to just snag one and walk back to his side of the map. Right now... no one is really eyeing that first Drake. Could be an opportunity for Rosethorn to go and take that one as he clears towards that side of the map. As his bot lane, for the most part, been doing a pretty good job getting pressure.
Yeah, with all that priority, and Onat, who's been itching to kind of rotate out of lane, this should be AOE's angle to try and posture up for that Drake, as you were mentioning, beatdown.
Yeah.
We do got recalls coming out from the bottom lane now. Aaron going to take that reset. First big purchase is going to be that Berserker's Greaves. It's always going to be nice for the extra move speed as well as that attack speed. And with that, I mean, the recalls are coming out for Wixie, so this leads me to believe that there isn't going to be a setup for a Drake just yet. I don't think either team is really going to prioritize it.
No, most likely not. I think right now the big thing is that Onat is doing a pretty solid job at keeping even and wave clear with Darkwings, and you can see it. He's constantly moving out of the lane now that he's level 6, just to see what he can do with that Weaver's Wall. There may even be an angle for him right now, because there's a fight.
Yeah, knockup comes out from Dox. He's in the middle of 2, and Aaron standing in the best spot he could possibly be, but no more as they turn the fight onto him, and Aaron's going to survive. Winnie gets the kill on the Rosethorn. All the meanwhile, solo over in the top lane. It is chaos across the Rift.
Still, it ends up being a 1-for-1 across the board. I think ultimately you're a little happier to be Wildcard because not only do you get a kill, you also secure that first Drake for yourself, and it's more gold onto Winnie.
Yes.
Who's playing the Graves. It's a good look.
Yeah, I didn't get a good look as I was watching right here. Yeah, it's just an all-in from Quacker. He thinks he has it, but he does not.
Needs one more.
Oh! So close, Pete.
It was. And this is what we love about Quacker. He's willing to go for these big all-ins, dive under turret, and had he been able to get that wave in, he would have denied a lot from Zamudo. But instead, he ends up giving his life for free. I mean, it's going to make things a little harder. Zamudo lives with 6 HP, I'm being told, too.
Yeah.
So now he comes back with the Berserker Greaves.
Shout out to Kai for that information. Now another collapse onto Quacker, and Zamudo is cashing.
Close your eyes.
Beat down. It's another kill, 2-0 in the top side.
And this is why I was asking about jungle attention top side, because Quacker's Plagues, a teleportless top laner. He didn't go for the ghost teleport. Instead, he went for flash. Means he ends up losing a decent bit just because he insta-died as he came back.
That's rough right there. Again, Quacker was one of those players who was a solo kill king last year.
Yeah.
Was able to get so many and looked pretty good when it came to those solo lane 1v1 fights, but Zamudo getting the better of that right now and besting Quacker at some of his best angles. Now we have a fight in the jungle. Wildcard chasing out Breezy. Here comes the Weaver's Wall. Onan has arrived. Seismic Shove does not get its target, which was Winnie. And Wildcard will gain control of the jungle as they look to steal away the Grom.
And this has been a pretty good response from AOE, but I like that Winnie is constantly invading here. When Darkwings and Aaron can get pushed, he's moving in, he's taking whatever advantage he can to try and deny these camps. Again, this is really what you're supposed to do when you're trying to counter jungle. Just deny as many camps as you can. You can even see Quacker is taking away his Gromp, so Rosethorn can't actually get the trade. Because, Eric, getting camps is nice, but a camp that you can take away from your opponent with no response is just double the value.
Oh, yes. Get as many as you can, cash in and make bank. Now here comes the play. They're going for the dive over in the bottom lane. Ooh, Doxa does not have his ultimate. He's only level 5. Aaron's still going to duke it out with Wixie and come out ahead thanks to Darkwings.
Yeah, that extra damage from the Mantra Q and the shield was so impactful, and it just ends up being a good response play. Quacker now recognizing he's the response as well. He's just going to recall, sacrifice a little bit.
Run,
even with his recall, even with his recall being delayed, I think that's just smart from him.
Migrate south for the winter, Quacker. Now is not the time for you to be over by this turret. Zamudo, I want to take a look at the gold. Again, Quacker does not have teleport. He's opted for the Ghost Flash, so this means he's missing out a lot. And you can tell from the gold right there, the 2 kills plus the CS lead gives him about a K ahead for Zamudo.
Yeah, this Jace is very fed at the moment, and look at the damage he's doing.
Yeah, lethality versus lethality. Winnie gets a good trade with Zamudo, so both of them going to go to about half health.
Wow!
Winnie's in the worst spot. An instant engage from Rosethorn.
At that point, there's just no way to actually respond to that. You're perma-CC'd until death, and I love the angle there too, because you're answering back, you're getting more gold into your pockets, and you can see it. When we look at the aggregate gold, AOE actually find themselves ahead, and so much of that is from this top side in Zamudo and what they've been able to do since Quacker died to him under tower.
It's starting to get brutal for Wildcard. Their win conditions are beginning to slip from them. As now, Darkwings will find some time to grab a plate over on that top side, but it's still not going to help out Quacker's situation where all the suffering really lies for a lot of what Wildcard are doing. I do notice that Zamudo has gone for the still-plated caps. I just realized how much value you're going to get out of that. There's 3 auto-attackers on this squad. The thing is, Darkwings is not one of them, and he's happy to keep pumping that AP damage. The rest of Wildcard headed towards this top lane, looking for the knock-up combo. Flash comes out of Zamudo, he gets out of it. Winnie trying to stalk onto the top laner, and Wildcard do not find the play.
The real MVP of that was Breezy, recognizing his top laner was the play. Him showing up means all Zamudo had to do was flash, and he could live. And that's good, because look at Wixie. He's been in the mid lane, farming away pretty safely, pretty contently. It's pretty important, as he's going to be a lot of AoE's damage alongside Zamudo. It's a good feeling for AoE.
It's a good feeling getting more plates as well. Onat's able to capture one there in the bottom lane all meanwhile. And while the gold lead is not blowing up, I really do like the allocation of gold. Especially considering Zamudo getting the gold he's getting. Once we start contesting for these neutral objectives towards the mid game, that Shock Blast adds up. That poke can be devastating.
Yeah, I mean, between Zamudo and Onat, that damage from range is going to be quite potent. And now my eyes are just going to be on objective setup and how AOE are going to use this bit of a gold lead they have. I mean, again, it's pretty much all on Zamudo, so I like that he is here so that they can leverage this gold lead in order to set up this second break.
And what a good look from Zamudo, by the way, who last year, one of my biggest gripes about him was it felt like we weren't getting much other than just the quirky picks. It feels like he's becoming more of a complete picture, as he not only gets the solo kills against Quacker, he's now setting up with the rest of his team to try and take this neutral objective, as it is secured over by AOE. The fight's going to come out, and Darkwings is absolutely devastated, and AOE just sweep Wildcard off the map.
Again, AOE, they're so fast to pull the trigger. Not only do they get the Drake, Onat with 2 kills, and Zamudo got one in the back end. AOE, they're playing this one fast, they're playing this one hard, and Aaron is in trouble.
Oh, knockup not going to land from Breezy. Now going to wait for the cooldown. Blast Plant provides Aaron the safety he needs to get away, but AOE are not going to stop anytime soon. 3.5k now in the lead, getting a 2.5k jump off that last play.
And I already said it before, I like the confidence that we've been seeing from AOE in this series ever since their game against FlyQuest Challengers, and we're going to see this one again. Basically, start to finish, this was a really nice sequence. Onat drops the Weaver's Wall just to ensure his team has time to secure the Drake, and even though Quacker was in the bottom, waiting in the wings, watch this flash. Aaron flashes away, but Breezy gets the perfect setup so that Onat could get a double knockback. Yes, Olaf is pretty solid into this draft, but if he's the only threat, as behind as he is, and everyone can focus him, it doesn't matter. It all happens so fast.
And it makes it incredibly hard for Aaron to actually find DPS in these fights. Because look at what's happening. Breezy goes for that backline, as he said. Aaron flashed it, but that meant he was not doing damage.
Right.
And now Wildcard, they want a piece of Zamudo. This is a 450 gold shutdown to pick up. It's going to be cashed into Dox. That is so unfortunate. And they're going to lose Winnie in the process. It's not worth it, beatdown.
No, not at all. And that's a really big feels bad. And now Wildcard, they're walking away from this one. See Wixie playing carefully in case there's a response to be had. But now Onat's going to take this opportunity. He knows there isn't really anybody on this side of the map, so he's just going to clear vision, lay down what he can. He's going to miss a pink ward, unfortunately. He didn't end up checking the brush.
Yeah, this side of the map was really there, except for that pink ward, unfortunately.
Happens.
Yeah, it does happen. That gets the best of us all. Quacker underneath the tower. Breezy goes for the knockup, but
a minion!
It's an execute! It's an execute, so you don't even lose out on the play for AoE, and Wixie picks up the kill for Quacker.
I mean, that's just wonderful, Eric. I don't have any other word for it. That feels amazing. You're seeing the thumbs up because that's a free kill, essentially.
Jeez.
And Wildcard are falling to pieces in the second game, Eric. It was a small lead for AoE, and now we're up to almost 5,000. Feels like Wildcard, they don't have many options, and any small misstep they take is punished heavily. I mean, this is an Olaf, and AoE are so ahead, they are just happy to get on top of him and try and even dive him.
Just one auto during that exchange, and that could have been a kill for Quacker, but a nice dive nonetheless from AoE. Wildcard off the respawn are going to go straight for the Rift Herald. They are able to secure it. Weaver's Wall from Onat. Breezy follows suit.
Oh, they got him.
Seismic Shove lands flush onto Winnie. And no matter what Winnie does, he's continuously punished by AoE.
They're just on top of him this entire game. Maybe even the whole series there, Eric. And it's just more for AoE. They're going to get this tier 2. They can get some threatening damage onto that mid-tier 1 with Zamudo there as well. And all Quacker can do is try to get an objective bounty on the other side of the map. But it is such a small thing compared to what AoE have gained these last 5 minutes.
They're going to keep getting more as they move from tower to tower, dismantling Wildcard. It's a minute before Dragon does come up, but they're just looking for the resets right here and right now. Dox empty-handed as he looks around for maybe some way to find an engage in. Control ward goes down. It's too late. The recall was channeled. Now Winnie, Rift Herald in the mid lane. Wildcard make their move.
Now you're seeing the TPs, though. The Herald's going to get a charge, but I think that's all she's going to get. Oh, Rosethorn
runs critically low. Somehow gets out of dodge in time thanks to that Crescent Guard. So that was almost a kill coming back for Wildcard, but still empty-handed.
Yeah, it did cost you an ult, and this tier 1 turret should go down now that you're forced out. You can see it. Onat, he's trying to recall.
Nice headbutt pulverized, but no damage to follow up, and this is just to steal away the Raptor camp, which kind of feels like Wildcard are just fighting for scraps at this point.
They really are. Rosethorn may not have ult, but fighting for this next dragon is such a dangerous prospect for you. It's fine. It doesn't matter.
And Zamudo just turns it right onto the cow anyway.
Yeah.
4-1 and 2 is Zamudo over on that top side. 3-0-2 for Onat. And Wixie 3-1-3. The carries of AOE all just reveling in the money.
Oh, they're just raking it in, as they are going to easily secure that Dragon wildcard. They're going to try to take what they can. Now their sights are set on this top tier 1. Onat knows this, so he's wisely just going to back off and not actually give away any real... give away any more gold than is necessary. AOE still in a very powerful position this game, and it feels like they can do no wrong, Eric.
Yeah, this is a different form of AOE. We talked about it so much regular season before things even started. This roster looked amazing on paper. We had very, very high expectations for them beat down. And now it feels like, while better late than never, they're finally meeting those expectations in playoffs.
It is great to see them turn it up, because again, no one's going to remember the regular season. If you make a run like AOE might be setting up for, if they're able to close this one out. Remember, guys, every game since we started playoffs has gone the distance. AOE looking like they're going to be the first team to get a 2-0 in the playoffs. Not Maryville, not FlyQuest, not SN. 2 of those 3 have lost. But it would be AOE if they can close it out.
And against a team that beat you in the regular season, so you're finding your vengeance.
Yes.
You're still continuing in NACL playoffs, as Winnie might be in a bad spot right now. They're finding Winnie. Breezy's going to go forward, pops the ultimate, gets the charm onto just the cow. Not the target you want in Dux. Another shock blast lands onto the back of Quacker as AOE starts spreading out for the siege.
And the next wave, they're going to be able to get some damage onto this tier 2, but what really matters is the vision they have set up. But could be an angle. Budo has so much damage. He's gotten so much poke. They are going to be able to take it out. Yeah.
Still has the charge. Oh, Rosethorn canceled it with the 3-talent strike. He still has to get out from the turret aggro. Going too far forward. Aaron's able to return the damage and gets 2 kills onto both Rosethorn and Zamudo. Still keeps bringing the autos, looking for Breezy. One after the other. Ratata, he keeps chonking.
Oh, they got him.
Here comes Wixie, bringing it right back for the rampage. He spots the angle, will chase down Darkwings and clip them for the triple kill. AOE, even when there's a glimmer of hope, AOE shut it down.
It's Wildcard. They're biting off more than they can chew. They weren't happy with the 2-for-1, and it ends up biting them hard, and you can see it again. Rosethorn, he just keeps doing this, and I like this one. He preps the 3rd auto of the 3-talent strike and immediately follows it with that Crescent Guard. Yes, when he gets out, and yes, a little too much damage was done by the turret, but this is where the problems start. And look at Onat. Look how much damage he's doing. And Aaron, even though he's trying, he isn't able to actually finish off any more kills from that second one.
I can't blame Aaron in this one. At this point, it's a desperation play, man. You're looking for anything, and you want to maximize immediately. You need to take these desperate plays. You need to really push forward with them, because if this goes to be standard, if we're looking at the 5v5, if we're looking to let AOE just siege up, it's going to be a loss for Wildcard.
Looking like we might get there anyway, Eric. You could see every lane is pushed in so deep into Wildcard side of the map. They have to fight tooth and nail just for every scrap of vision they can get. Look how many people have to go mid just so they can interact with this wave. It just goes to show you the position Wildcard find themselves in. AOE now strong enough where they could start a Baron whenever they want to. That's why you see that blue ward come out. Because with a lead like this, whatever AOE wants to do, they can.
Dance is now going to be around Baron as AOE begin to try and get a little bit of priority towards the mid lane. It's already at the time that Wildcard are clearing out this wave, so they can force AOE at least back into their jungle, and this will be an objective bounty for Wildcard. It's going to be a good amount of gold back, but this is still a pretty big lead at 6.5.
Look what's happening bot side too. Zamudo, he's so strong. He's knocking down and exposing that bottom inhibitor. They have a choice to make. Do we stop him? Do we TP? Do we fight the Baron? And Zamudo.
Ooh, knockup found on Zamudo, but he flashes out in time. Weaver's Wall is looking for Aaron. Aaron flashes back. Now an angle onto Onat, but he will be able to flash out as well. Summoner's burnt left and right. Rosethorn leading the charge, but the Crescent Guard will time out. And AOE, they're running low on 3 members. They can't continue the fight.
But this is still fine. Oh, hold on.
Zamudo.
Yeah, it's a desperate Baron time. This is the only option you have left as Wildcard. Onak can TP in to try and stop this, but this is probably Wildcard's last chance this series.
Yeah. This is all you have left for Wildcard. And they're starting to peel back already. They don't feel confident because they see the horde that is AOE marching towards them. Low health bars across as Zamudo jumps in for one. It gets returned. Darkwings is able to get the kill. 4 versus 5 for Wildcard. Do they have a chance? Again, they're running low on resources. They don't have much left to fight this. They still dance around the Baron, but moving towards the mid lane is going to be some members of AOE, and this is a stalemate just waiting to break.
Yeah, the stalemate is good for AOE because look at where Rosethorn is. He's on that bottom side. He's looking like he wants to solo the Drake. I think he's currently doing the Scuttle Crab. And as long as you keep poking down the members of Wildcard and you make sure they don't start the Baron, it's good.
Oh, Onat in a bad spot. Gets picked off by Wildcard. Now Breezy looking to run away. No tether, was on cooldown for Darkwings, and suddenly Wildcard, they're not looking so weak after all beatdown.
It's going to have to be back to the Baron. As soon they're going to get the indicator that Rosethorn is on that Drake. He's only halfway done it as well, so he either needs to get off right now or they seed the Baron.
Wildcard, 6k health remains. Zamudo showing up. Might look for the fight immediately after. AOE looks for the knockup, but Breezy goes down. Now Doxa gets slain by AOE. Winnie going in the wrong direction. Wixie will chase him down. Darkwings really can't help out here. Has to take the recall instead. And though Wildcard get the Baron, it's going to cost them a few lives. Fighting for his own is Quacker. Zamudo will chase him down. Is there enough movement speed when you change forms? There is. And there it is. The turret lands onto the duck. And with Baron secured, AOE still take the team fight.
Wildcard, they're able to get a lot of gold back into their pockets as a result of securing that Baron, even though it cost them 3 lives. At this stage of the game, that is about as good as you can hope for. So I like the resilience. I like the decision to stay on this and try to finish it. And then just get the hell out of dodge. Unfortunately, Wixie has all the move speed he needs with that ultimate, with the ghost that is able to walk Winnie down. Quacker isn't able to finish his recall either.
Very unfortunate right there. Quacker going down. You're going to lose quite a few of the Baron buffs, but still some will be on the map. Darkwings was one of them that was able to secure it, and it'll help prolonging this game and defending against the siege of AOE. For however long you have this as a knockup combo. Comes in from Doxa, lands on the Rosethorn. Just looking for defense is Wildcard.
Yeah, AOE dodging out on the Chains of Corruptions. Still trying to do what they can to take this mid tier 2. It helps that Wildcard still have some Baron buffs to work with because they will make it harder for AoE to siege. But the gold lead, it's still very large. And the damage AoE can do is still very large. So ultimately on this next wave, it is going to go down. And someone still has to answer bot side for free because that inhibitor is out of the picture.
Now here comes the siege from AoE. You can see the Baron buff is doing some work in helping defend.
Yeah.
They are getting some good wave clear that comes out of Darkwings. Whenever you put out that Mantra Q, you do get the 2 procs out of it, both of them being AoE. And speaking of, they are still holding control of this bot side jungle, but now it is time for the reset.
Yeah, just seeing some purchases come through. AoE have picked up a good amount of gold since that Baron fight. This is their first recall. So now they're just going to take a second, spend their money, and try and fix some of their side waves. That's why you see Zamudo going top to try and push that out as far as they can. We're still a few minutes away from really anything coming through, and now it's just Wildcard seeing what they can get done in terms of vision, seeing if they can even get a pick somehow.
Trying to find some chip damage with Darkwings, but it's not really going to amount to much right now as they're forced to bail out of the jungle. Getting some control towards the spot side. Definitely going to be part of the plan for Wildcard within the next 3 minutes, as it would be a Dragon Soul going over to AoE if they are able to secure that. Fortunately for Wildcard, they don't have to play around Baron too much. They were able to grab that earlier and take that off the map. And right now, Wildcard are just looking for whatever crumbs they can find in this game. Maybe one can satiate the hunger and bring them back from the abyss.
Yeah, the problem now with that Dragon Soul coming up is that the timer is basically synced up perfectly with the next Baron coming through. So Wildcard, they have their work cut out for them. Letting go of this Dragon Soul for a Baron buff probably isn't the best call. So are they going to be able to get some kind of pick beforehand so that they can get that Drake, prevent the Baron from going the way of AoE? Wildcard, they just need time. Because the more time this game goes, the more opportunities they're going to be presented with to potentially make that comeback.
And time is starting to work for them as the inhibitor respawned in the bottom lane. So a lot of that pressure that was getting hard to handle down there now going to be responded to. You have a minion wave growing up as well that's pushing for that side of the lane. Unfortunately, the tower's not there, and Zamudo is going to meet it. So going to set up the side lanes in the name of AoE. And it's a very good time to do it because we got a minute 40 before objectives are back up. So conditioning this map to bring an end to Wildcard is the name for AoE.
All right, Wildcard under a tremendous amount of pressure right now. And they're down 5K, down a game in the lower bracket. You only get so many chances left before AoE close the book on the series and close the book on your spring split. They are going to need to make a fight go their way. They want any hope of staying alive in playoffs.
Winnie and Dox are moving as a unit, and Zamudo does not know. Fortunately for him, Winnie and Doxa don't know.
That's right.
Throw ward goes down, and Doxa going to realize something's up.
Yeah, it's nice, though, too, because it gives Wixie that that knowledge so that he can very confidently just push through this bottom lane, shift up towards the top side where his entire team is, and just steal away jungle camps from Winnie. What Winnie was doing to Rosethorn in the early minutes of the game being done to him now. Even though he has a farm lead, it doesn't make up for everything AoE have. So we could see the setups of a pretty desperate fight coming through from Wildcard.
Wildcard have their backs against the wall, and it's 20 seconds before Dragon Soul spawns or AoE. AoE seem to fancy themselves towards this top side of the map, where they've sent a teleport from Zamudo to continue pushing the wave. This will give them a lot of control and priority over the Baron. And Wildcard, you were talking about it earlier, the risk of giving up the Baron or Dragon Soul. Not something you really want to do at this stage of the game.
Yeah, the teleport was so nice. Now, even Darkwings has to match and ignore the waves. He's going in.
Rosethorn is getting chipped away on still. It's not looking too good for Zamudo. Zamudo goes in. Quacker's able to get one. And Wixie goes legendary. Zamudo onto Aaron. Flashes out. Wixie still popping heads. Looking to bring it back. The knockup is crucial. And the bodies are hitting the floor. Wildcard have given it their all. But the 11th hour, it belongs to AOE. 8th seed. They will not let the regular season be the dictators of their fate. Damn the regular season. Damn anyone who steps up. From lane to shining lane beatdown, the O Nation will succeed and find domination and continue in the lower bracket.
And Seed, be damned, Eric, it doesn't mean a single thing. They're going to finish with 8K and a pentakill for Wixie, and they're going to send Wildcard packing.
2-0. AOE put an exclamation point on that game, and they proceed in the lower bracket. And this looks like a completely different AOE beatdown. Playoffs AOE almost took down FlyQuest. Playoffs AOE is dominating this lower bracket.
I think the improvement from this team has been tremendous so far. We're going to take a look at the last play of this game. Again, it is the pentakill. This is one of the best looks Wildcard had the last 20 minutes of this game. Quacker trying to get into someone's face and secure that first kill. But I mean, watch Onat, watch Wixie. They were perfectly safe this entire fight. And because Wixie, who has gotten all this gold throughout the game, is able to free fire essentially, he's in the perfect spot to close the series with a pentakill.
Beautiful from Wixie. That is the way you do it. That is the way you send it home in game number 2 at match point. But on the opposite side, we are sending home Wildcard. What can I say? The bottom lane had such growth, man. Aaron and Doxa in particular. They're a pair that works so well
Yeah.
together. It's a shame that their season has to come to an end right now, but all that being said, I think they should be very proud of themselves with the performance they had in the regular season.
I think so too. I think Aaron and Doxa were a big highlight for me for this wild card roster, and players I'm excited to see going into the next split as well.
So off that note, it's time to celebrate for AOE. We're going to throw it over to short break. When we return, we'll have an interview with one of the members of Area of Effect. Introducing the new foot-long sidekicks at Subway. Try the warm and delicious foot-long cookie, foot-long pretzel, or foot-long churro. Welcome back, everyone, to LCS Challengers. We've decided to take a vacation. We've flown over to the O Nation. And, of course, a 2-0 right now for Area of Effect. Onat, how does it feel, man? Especially considering the way this playoffs have... you've been so close to taking down FlyQuest. Now you're proceeding in the lower bracket in a dominant fashion. How does this all feel?
Feels good to win today, but our last loss, it both hurt a lot, but at the same time showed us how good we are. So we just took it on the chin and we said we have to beat everybody to win the whole thing anyways. We have to be better than them all. And we kind of showed that we're at that level. So it just comes down to running through everybody and getting our rematch against Fly.
So talk to me a bit about how AOE has changed. Because in the regular season, expectations weren't exactly met, but in playoffs, you guys look like completely different beasts. So what preparations or any sort of which have you guys been going through to cause this boom in performance?
Honestly, I don't think it was our active effort in practice that made us this good. I think we were always of this potential, and that's what everybody expected. But we're just a stage team. And the more adrenaline there is and the more comms there are and the more stakes, the better we play. And it felt like we'd always play better on stage than we did in scrims. And that was a problem because we didn't get to practice in scrims how to close out games, which is why our results during stage games were not that great. But we've had some decent practice recently. And now that the stakes are at, the highest they've ever been, everybody shows up screaming, and the comms in this one game is more than a week of scrims. So
thriving in a high stress environment, it works out.
Yeah, I wanted to ask, since this is the first time we've gotten to talk to you since your last series as well, I want to know what you guys took away from your series against FlyQuest specifically. It was a really close game. You guys almost beat them, but it didn't quite happen. So what did you learn from last week and going into this week?
Honestly, after facing those guys, we realized like this is anybody's playoffs. It's like one big takeaway, and that anyone can win, and that they're not as good as you think they are. And we are also at that same caliber as them, and we proved that, and we should have taken them down. And maybe it's a good thing that we didn't. So the next time we play them, it'll look even better. But I just think, yeah, the biggest takeaway is anyone can win, and you just gotta show up on the day of.
So you said the next time you play them, so you're expecting to go all the way to the finals. Is that what I'm hearing, Onat?
Of course, of course. Of course. We're gonna take them down.
I like it, man. I like it a lot. Personally for you, throughout this season, what is something you felt like you were working on, at least coming into the season, and that you've improved a lot as you've played more and more NACL and with AOE?
I think I've reflected on that a lot, to be honest. Like my last split, which was my first one, I felt like I could hold my own really well against some of the top players, but was just not able to compete on like a macro sense. And it was really hard to learn last split, I think, with the quality of games and everything that happened. But this split with AOE, I'm really learning a lot. And macro-wise is something that I'm improving on a lot. Like I'm able to make plays mid-game and late game, and call for things that I know like confidently as well is another thing. So I think just macro has gotten better, and playing against Quad and Roamer and Spyrax and these guys like consistently has made me mechanically a lot better as well. I've gained a lot of confidence in mechanics and macro, I guess. So just all around, I think I've become a better player.
It's shown, man. Especially that RE game, that was
Yeah.
really gnarly.
9-1.
I appreciate
So I actually
that.
wanted to ask a little more about that too. Is it partially? What do you attribute that improvement to? Was it coaching, working with your team? Was it just playing in this league at this tier 2 level? Like, what is it in your opinion that helped you get this far?
Well, shout out to Coach Griffin and shout out to Kenshin. I think they go pretty hard in review, and they always talk about things I can do better. And also, like, yeah, my teammates. My teammates are also really critical, and we're all critical of each other, and there's no holding back when it comes to, flaming each other, telling each other what you could do better. So I think, yeah, and obviously, like you mentioned, just playing in the league in the first place and playing against these better mid laners, and you're like, he just did that and won the game by himself. I could do that too. So it's a mix of everything, and I can't really attribute it to one, but I want to give credit to everything.
All right. Well, Onat, I want to give you the floor. If you want to give any shout outs, now's the time.
Shout out my team. Shout out AOE. Shout out Griffin, Genshin, my family. I know they're at home watching. I love you guys, and shout out my girlfriend. Thank you guys.
All right. Thank you so much, Onat, for joining us. Congratulations on your win. And I want to see if that prophecy comes true. Make it to the finals, man. Have a good one.
See you.
All right. Off of that note, we are going to throw it over to a short break while we get ready for our next series, Supernova versus Maryville. We'll be right back. Introducing the new footlong sidekicks at Subway. Try the warm and delicious footlong cookie, footlong pretzel, or footlong churro.
Before this guy won this, he actually won this. And now these guys, they're trying to do the same.
He's looking for the killer instinct. He's going
Basu!
in. He finds 2. He finds 3.
Basu, you are utterly ridiculous. This guy is also trying to do what that guy did. And he didn't win one of those, but he did win this.
Welcome to the new era. A toast to our champions, Disguise.
This guy played one split of LCS and then made semis at Worlds.
It's been a long journey, but I'm happy to be here now.
He's always been really good, but he finally made the comeback. Oh, and he did it with this guy. This guy won Academy, and he had some dreams.
I want to be like the best NA mid laner to go to Worlds, right?
Dokla, however, very, very low. Reinforced by the Senna ultimate. And the Pop Blossom is so awesome.
This kid? Yeah, this kid. He actually didn't win an Academy, but a lot of people thought he was good, and boy, were they right. This guy made Worlds his very first year as a player. It took him a while to get back. He even played with this kid. But then, they did all of this together.
Nobody thought they'd win LCS. Nobody thought they'd beat G2. It's time to change your minds.
You know all of these names, but do you know the names of who's next? The future of the LCS starts right after the LCS. Welcome to Challengers League.
Get up on your feet, this is a shakedown.